It's time to declutter the office. This is week 20 and week 21 of this sophisticated declutter. We are getting so close to the end of this process. So proud of you if you've been sticking with me this entire time. If you haven't been and you are interested in starting the 6-month declutter, feel free to join in right now or to see the entire playlist starting from the beginning, including explaining what the 6-month sophisticated declutter is. Or you could just be somebody who's held on to a lot of papers, maybe they're from doctor's appointments or other reference documents that you just don't need anymore. Or if you are feeling like, I don't know, I might need this just in case, you can always try and go digital or pare things down. I've gone through some of my papers from doctor's offices and just saved the important parts. Oftentimes there's like tons and tons of information they give you that you don't actually need to hold on to and reference. But for those of you that are here with me on weeks 20 and 21, here is what you can expect over the next couple of weeks. So for week 20, we are focusing on paper and files. I'm hoping this is a good, juicy one where you can get in a lot of decluttering because so many of us have unnecessary papers and files that we can get rid of. Don't forget what I've been saying this entire time. If you don't have a traditional office like I do and you keep papers and files elsewhere, use this time to declutter all the papers and files you have throughout your house. Ideally, you'd have them organized and stored in one area, but the concept is going to apply just the same as we're going through in decluttering, and try to get rid of things that are no longer necessary for us to have, which can include so many different things, right? Think about manuals. Manuals that you don't need could be manuals that are for products that you no longer own. Or you can oftentimes find manuals online. You might be surprised as to what types of things you can find online these days. And you don't actually need to have the paper itself. You could have receipts that you've been saving, receipts for products that you don't have anymore beyond the event, and you can just keep some of the papers. Again, ideally you'd go digital and scan those or put them into some sort of an electronic format, but that might not be your style. I completely understand that some people are paper people and some people are electronic people, and you might just be more comfortable with having physical copies of things. I'm like that with a few things, so don't worry about that as well. And there are, of course, many things that you do actually need a physical copy of. Some really important documents you need to keep and hold on to, like birth certificates, marriage licenses, social security cards. Those types of things you're going to have to keep physical copies of. Regardless of whether we're talking digital or electronic, try as you're going through these to create categories and create a system that you can really find what you're looking for in the future, and creating a system for incoming papers. What you're gonna do when you bring that mail home every single day. Is there a sorting technique that you have for long-term papers, short-term papers? What do you do when your kids come home from school and have papers? Try and think about that as you're going through and decluttering, because papers are one of those categories that, no pun intended, can pile up on you quite quickly. So though we're focused on decluttering, having an eye and a mind towards organization and looking towards how you're going to handle papers coming into your home in the future should hopefully help you stay decluttered after you finish this week. Week 21 is going to be the rest of your office. And I don't know how much that really means for you. It's going to completely depend. Your office will include office supplies, things that you think of really basic, like paper clips and staplers, those types of office supplies. Maybe you have lots of extra notebooks. If you have electronics, that might fall into this category as well. Extra pens, all of those things that you'd find potentially in a traditional office space. That's what you're going to focus on for week 21, because I want your entire office space or all of your office supplies, paper and files to be done by the end of week 21. A couple of things to keep in mind when you're going through office supplies. You're probably going to find a lot of things that are just junk, honestly. So often people give away office supply freebies, so that can be a way that you've gotten a lot of clutter brought into your office and brought into your home. Most of those freebie products you really don't need. If they're pens and you're using them, of course keep them, or post-it notes and you use post-it notes, keep them. But you don't need a huge stack of post-it notes branded with all different sorts of things from different events that you've gotten for free, or a million different notepads that you're never going to use because they're branded again with something else. I know I need to go through my notepads and see what I can get rid of because I feel like I probably have too many there. I also, during this time, take an opportunity to go through every single one of my pens. I know that sounds like kind of crazy. It's kind of a relaxing thing as well, but I just take a piece of paper and go through all my pens that are in my office and just make a line on a piece of paper and make sure they're all working. And you might surprise yourself with the number of pens that you can get rid of because they're no longer working. You'll also find most likely that you have a lot of certain categories of office supplies that you're just never realistically going to use up. How many paper clips does one person actually need? I don't have the answer to that question, but I bet if you look at the supply of paper clips you have, you could probably be pretty honest with yourself and say, you know what? Can I get rid of some of these, or do I really need all of these paper clips? Do that with each category you're going through, and as you're getting your office supplies that you're ready to declutter, there are always great things to donate. You can check with local schools if they're accepting office supplies, school type supplies, and would appreciate some of the things that you're not going to use as a maybe small family versus an entire school could go through a large number of paper clips very quickly. I mentioned electronics. I keep some electronics in my office. I have things like label makers and a printer, and I do keep extra chargers in my office. I also keep some supplies like an extra Bluetooth mouse and a headset. So I know for me, this would be a good opportunity to go through things. I still have some electronics that made more sense when I was working in person in an office versus me now working remote. Those products and electronics change a bit, so I can probably do some decluttering there. Also, if it is outdated technology and you have updated something, please get rid of those things. We are past the days of holding on to all of your old cell phones and especially all of the boxes that they come in. Please throw those things away. You're not going to use them. You don't need them. It's just more junk and clutter. So go through your electronics, the boxes they come in, everything else in your office, and hopefully you can have a peaceful working space at the end of week 21. That's it for today's quick video. I will be posting more around decluttering the office here on YouTube, on Instagram, sending out my newsletter. Make sure to check below if you are not subscribed to my newsletter. But until next time, I will see you all later.